Borno State, located in Nigeria's northeast, has had its fair share of good as well as defective leadership. In October 2018, Professor Babangana Umara Zulum defeated a strong field of 21 candidates in the primary election to emerge the candidate of the All Progressives Congress. 10 of the aspirants pulled out of the race deep into the contest. Out of 5,012 delegates eligible to vote, Professor Zulum polled 4,432 votes, while his immediate challenger, Idris Maman Dokwa, polled 114 votes. 5 months later, in the governorship election, Zulum underlined his popularity and that of his party by winning with an audacious margin. He polled 1,175,455 votes. The People's Democratic Party candidate in second place scored 66,215 votes. As soon as Governor Zulum took the oath of office, the party was over. He hit the ground running by going ahead to implement various policies and programs based on his campaign slogan of continuity and consolidation.
There are over 200,000 children here in Dikwa. And the previous administration under His Excellency Kashim Shettima has done a lot. So we are here to continue from where he stopped. And then we have seen one of the mega schools that was constructed by him. So we have given the directives to convert this to a junior secondary school, since we don't have any secondary school here. And then we are also looking into the possibility of rehabilitating one of the biggest secondary schools in the Borno Central, which is the Teachers College Dikwa.
He has made every day count in fulfillment of the social contract he signed with the people of Borno State to make their lives better, create jobs, provide economic opportunities, ensure the security of lives and property, improve healthcare, promote education, boost agriculture, and provide infrastructure. Focused on returning internally displaced persons to their ancestral homes, the governor launched an aggressive campaign against insecurity by providing vehicles to the military, the police, civilian JTF, the Civilian Defense Corps, and hunters to secure communities prone to attacks by Boko Haram fighters.
Let me assure all that we are firm and resolute in commitment to safeguard the security of lives and properties of our people. In the new year 2020, we rather reaffirm our determination to resettle our displaced communities and settlements. We will reinvigorate the resettlement scheme by building 10,000 housing units in both rural and urban areas. We shall remain resolute, firm, and courageous to implement all objectives that will bring peace in the state.
Zulum, a trained engineer, reopened major highways leading to landlocked communities of Gamburu, Ngala, Damboa, and Bama.
In fact, I just was told that he traveled unknown to even his security team. He traveled to Damboa through Chibok, Askrauba, to Goza, and to Bama, unknown to some of his security team. And so he found out that some of them didn't even know he was coming. So that kind of surprise visit, that is who the professor is, to you. He is the kind of person that is unpredictable when it comes to governance. He doesn't want to negotiate any level of governance. He wants to make sure that all the civil servants, everybody is taken along, everybody is, of course, on board.
In the education sector, Governor Zulum has focused on constructing more schools in the state capital as well as in local councils across the state, with emphasis on girl-child education.
The girl child is faced with a greater challenge due to the insurgency. Many have been orphaned, displaced, and but for the intervention of the state government and other collaborating partners, the story would have been worse than what happened during the Nigerian Civil War. We are appreciative of the interventions by the state government, but I have been mandated by the girls of Borno State, Your Excellency, to appeal that among the mega schools being built or have been built, specific ones be dedicated to the girl child.
This administration will do everything possible to promote girl child education. Not even promoting the girl child education. Education in terms of what? Sustainable education. The areas of technical and vocational education is very important. Very soon, we shall have girls' vocational school in Borno State.
Tertiary education was firmly in the governor's plans when he opened Borno's first state-owned university, with admission offered to more than 400 students to kickstart the university.
Even though the idea and development of the institution began some years back, the inauguration of the Senate gives the institution the desirable life to operate in the academic world. Looking at the edifice today tells you that it is not a mean task and responsibility. We are receiving commendation from far and near, and we must live up to expectations. The Vice Chancellor has emphatically emphasized quality education and world-class standards. We must be able to compete favorably with and excel in performance with our first and second class generation of universities of the country. This administration places a prime position to education being the most important factor for economic development in the 21st century.
This has set the ball rolling for the resurgence of education in Borno State, which had suffered setbacks as a result of Boko Haram's brand of terrorism.
So in all the local government areas, he personally visited, he makes sure that he visits schools. And in those schools, what he does is that he needs to know whether or not the teachers are attending to their classrooms. And because of his personal visit, consistent supervising, he came back and then he constituted a committee to verify and ascertain, the number of primary school teachers that we have, the quality of the teachers that we have, and their level of education, which is just in order to improve the education at the grassroots. Because if you do not, if you miss it at the basic level, you have missed almost everything. In addition to that also, school uniforms have been provided, particularly to the children of the IDPs.
Encouraged by the tremendous achievements recorded in the health sector during the administration of Senator Kashim Shettima, Governor Zulum says he will continue to fund and maintain this critical sector. Development partners in the health sector were also assured of the state's commitment to prioritizing the health and well-being of the people.
The primary health center in Dalori village of Kondaga local government area, which is one of the 15 primary health care centers that is being initiated by the MCRP project. And in the next 1 or 2 months, all the remaining ones shall be completed. And you can look at the number of population in this community. They don't have a befitting health center, and I think this health center will go a long way in providing the health needs of this community.
There is no single working local government within the span of 1 year that you will go that Professor Zulum did not touch their life in one way or the other, particularly in terms of health. All the health institutions in the state, across the state, if it's a primary, it has been expanded to secondary, tertiary, secondary hospital. If it's a secondary, it has been expanded. The number of beds have been increased. If you go to Biu today, the brand new local government secretariat is there. If the township road is ongoing, vocational training center is ongoing, rehabilitation of the rural world is ongoing. If you go to Howell, most of the displaced community have been constructed and people have returned back to their place of abode.
With most of Borno indigents in the internally displaced persons camps, the governor paid an unscheduled visit to Munguno, which hosts the largest camp in the region to provide relief to the victims and promising to return them to their ancestral homes ahead of the farming season.
Administration plan to distribute seeds and cash for this year's rainy season and dry season farming to a total number of 100,000 farmers in Borno State.
Agriculture, despite the security challenges, last year alone, during the rainy season, he has cultivated more than 5,000 hectares across Borno State. And look at the forgive farming that for the past 10 years has never been occurred. It happened last year. And look at how he ensured he has visited all the local governments, including Abadam, the Malampato, the headquarters of Abadam local government.
Two members of the House of Representatives are impressed with the governor's efforts in resettling internally displaced persons.
Governor is a governor that is responsible and responsive to the yearnings and aspirations of his people. As a result of the Boko Haram insurgency, majority of our people are displaced. They are living in internally displaced people's camps. And even those that are not displaced cannot go to farm, cannot engage in any meaningful business activity. So it was as a result of this that the governor, out of his humanitarian concern, decided to extend this humanitarian support to the displaced people and people that are in the host community with a view to alleviating their sufferings that was brought about as a result of the Boko Haram insurgency. And then apart from that, our governor has embarked upon a Marshall Plan for the reconstruction and rehabilitation of all the infrastructure that has been destroyed. We also wish to seize this opportunity to extend our sincere gratitude to President Muhammadu Buhari for assenting to the bill for the establishment of the Northeast Development Commission, and also for the robust funding of the commission with a view to embarking upon a Marshall Plan for the rehabilitation and reconstruction of our destroyed infrastructure.
And look at how he ensured he has visited all the local governments, including Abadam, the Malampato, the headquarters of Abadam local government. And if you see how he achieved the food stability, food security of the internally displaced person. Prior to this, there are a lot of stories about feeding of IDPs, hunger in Northeast, but one of his cardinal principles was that there is a zero hunger, judicious utilizations of the resource earmarked for feeding the internally displaced person, and all the basic requirements of the IDPs have been achieved.
The story of Borno is fast changing, and the building of a modern state has begun in earnest.
I've heard about my colleagues from other states saying if we can borrow them Zulum. And I said, well, in the Constitution, we cannot borrow a governor. Of course, we work with our shoulder high. Once we remember, we know the kind of governor that we have, in Borno State. I'm telling you, he has made all of us very proud. We as politicians, we as public administrators virtually have nothing to complain about him. Most of the politicians do not have anything. This is the first time I will have, a governor that hardly will you hear anybody criticizing him. I am yet to hear somebody that will go to the media and criticize, our governor, in the state. This nowadays of social media where everything goes, a very small thing, you will hear it in the next minute. Now hardly will you see. I mean, he has packaged a media team, he has packaged some, his state executive council, and even taking all of us on board, making sure that, look, he hears our opinion.
Communities ravaged by the Boko Haram insurgency are getting attention from the state government through projects designed to accelerate return to normalcy as peace steadily returns across the state. In Goza, Uba, Askira, and Chibok local government areas, the governor has flagged off healthcare centers and befitting secretariats for the return of civil authority to these local councils.
We must ensure the establishment of civil authorities on ground. With respect to the traditional rulers that we have been saying, some are IDPs in Maiduguri, but those whom you felt must stay in Gaza that are unable to stand, you can send their names to us so that we can immediately revoke them, and the recommendation for the removal for their substitution should be forwarded to them to us so that we can substitute them. I've given you the latitude to do so whatever you feel. Gaza is a very big local government. We have nothing fewer than 100,000 people here in Gaza. I see no reason why heads of department cannot stay in Gaza. Why His Eminence, the Royal Highness of Gaza, is in Gaza.
One of the most remarkable achievements that his administration has recorded is in the area of bringing in security and establishment of civil authorities in area hitherto been under the control of the insurgents. The first thing that he did was to employ the services of our local hunters, the local vigilante group, alongside the civilian JTF, who are fighting, with the state actors like the military, the migration, the custom, the police, and all these who are already on ground.
His administration is asking the emirs of Goza and Bama to return to their domains for ease of administration. He is building 1,000 housing units, 500 each for Jimtilo and Ungandu communities to be built within 18 months. The houses will comprise of 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom apartments and will have facilities like schools, places of worship, police outposts, and fire stations.
I've given 2 weeks for the occupants of such houses to either give it to the nations who are in the IDP camps only to stay inside, or otherwise government will ensure occupation by some internally displaced persons. This is also very important. Thank you very much for the warm reception. We thank the GLC for the warm reception and the warm reception for all of us.
Come close to you, but then...
Former Deputy Governor of Borno State, Adamu Diba, says Governor Zulum has indeed set the state on a path of accelerated socio-economic growth.
The leadership of His Excellency Professor Babagana Umar Zulum in Borno State is something that is so glaring for all to see. His stewardship for the past 1 year has been very, very commendable, very excellent. Some of us that have known him aren't surprised. When our former governor, His Excellency Governor, Senator now Kashim, was bringing him, he did say that I'm bringing you 2 for a price of 1. In other words, he said that Professor Zulum will way performed, what he has done within a very short time. All of us were looking at it as if it was a joke. But apparently from what we have seen so far, Zulum has way performed our expectation. So far, it's just about in the corner of 1 year, but he has touched almost all spheres of our endeavors in the state. We thank God for his life. We thank God for the kind of leadership that we now have in Borno State. Unfortunately, because of our peculiar problem, having gone through all this disruption for all these years, of course, it's this kind of leadership that, is good for Borno and it's even good for all other states in the Northeast and even beyond Northeast, all over the country.
To Ahmed Satomi, Zulum's record of achievement shouldn't surprise anyone, given his pedigree.
The way he was chosen, elected by the people of Borno State to become the governor, actually is a messiah. And I believe having a professor of agri-engineering with a caliphate of Zulu, with tapped experience in the Ministry of Rehabilitation and Reconstruction and Resettlement. The achievement so far, particularly the commitment he has shown in restoring the lost glory of our dear state, that's the security. It's unparalleled. Above all, the prospect for Borno with the economic policy of Professor Zulum, the intended IGR that he wants to generate in future months coming through the budgets, through the Borno investment, the reviving of the Borno fertilizer industry, the reviving of the Borno shoe and tannery factory, and many more. Definitely, I saw the blueprint and the prospect for Borno to become home of peace. This time around, not only peace, it will going to be home of peace, stability, and economic security.
In his 100 days in office, for the first time in the history of Borno State, we have a governor who came out with a clean slate of developmental activities, programs and projects, about 120 in number. 120 projects in 100 days. And here is 1 year, and we are still counting.
Our state has really suffered, but so far so good with the collaboration of both the state and the federal government. Our state will be, a better place. By the grace of God, we are praying that this pandemic of COVID-19 is also stamped out so that our economy will pick up both at the national and even globally.
Although government has done a lot in 1 year, this official believes there is still more to do.
This situation, despite the effort put in by the Borno State government through the ever leadership of Professor Zulum, if you look at it in wider perspective, Professor Zulum supported the security operation, including military, Nigerian police, civilian JTF, civil defense, with no less than 1,000 vehicles within the 1 year of his inception into office. This is not a small achievement. With the meager resources coming from the Federation, with virtually zero internally generated revenue, he has performed wonderfully with the support of the military. This is the one that we know in real, but there are a lot in hidden. But if there is a gap, which I know I can tell him, despite the achievement there must be a shortcoming. To me, to my belief, the governor should go to the presidency or anywhere else to seek for further intervention, particularly in terms of resource. And then if there is resource, there is going to be a lot to achieve. For example, looking at the number of civilian JTF,
The morning, they say, makes the day. In just 1 year, Governor Zulum has made a fist of his job of transforming the state from obscurity to national prominence. Yet, to those who know him very well, the best has only just begun.